Well, now, y'all, it's your minds and them, the Toothless Wonder, back with another video on the Bamboozle Again News Network. Well, of course, as I like to say, we get bamboozled every day, B. But not the kid, though. No side. And here's why, right? I understand, and I just came to this revelation last night. I can't do nothing, person, place, or thing my spirit ain't in. And I can't go nowhere where the spirit ain't at, or it's just good vibes, or intellectual conversation, or harmonious environment and atmosphere. Y'all remember, earlier on in my journey, in sobriety, kind of bored, you trying to do something new. And then you might got a couple of hours, like, man, I want to holler at the homie just to do something different, just to kick it. You know what I mean? Get your little social rocks off a little bit. And I remember doing this a handful of times, going back to see people. And it was actually on the, like, let's say Christmas time, New Year's Eve, whatever the case may be. Go around these people, and then within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I'm ready to go back home by myself, yo. And I'm like, yo, what's going on, yo? And it wasn't even so much them. I didn't realize I was changing. Or what I thought used to be fun or would be fulfilling was no longer fulfilling to my spirit, even though my brain say, yo, let's go do this. This should be fun, or whatever the case may be, yo. And in light of, and I already knew this was gonna happen at some point. On New Year's Eve, you had the situation in New Orleans. I think another situation in New York. I don't even like being around large groups and clusters of folks like that. Not that it makes me anxious or fearful or anything like that. It just make my spidey sense to them, because I know somebody gonna do something dumb. I know somebody gonna. I just never understood this, like when I came into the world or these various other places I've been at, and I'd be out there with whoever or wherever I'm at, whoever I'm with, right? And then somebody always like try me, which makes no sense to me. Let me just walk up to this dude I don't know and see if I can find the end. Not knowing this man from a can. That's actually dangerous if I think about it. You know what I'm saying? If they ain't bothering you, don't bother them. You know what I'm saying? But I guess that's, part of the manipulate, or especially in the Negro community, where everybody think they some type of super mass manipulator and jigger and the finesse king and all that. Not realizing, and again, because of ego, you can't see that I see past all. I seen you coming. I seen you before you seen me. I knew what you was going to do before you did it. And then what typically happens, when I don't go for, or I say, as I realize now, I don't give a damn, man. Like, I give a damn about stuff that's important. But like the typical stuff that people find or hang their hat on means absolutely positively nothing to the kid. You know what I'm saying? Oh, such and such, making all this money. Oh, that's what's up, y'all. And I'm getting into this space as far as personally. Oh, man, Kyle, you woot the woot. Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm going about my business. How they say, someone at a distance, if two people are arguing, someone at a distance can't tell who's the fool. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have it. It's not that I don't have energy. I just don't have energy to give in misdirected places. Because it'll get you all off focus, all off task, rile you all up. Now you got bad attitude. You know what I'm saying? When really it ain't got nothing to do with you. Like I said in the last video, not because I'm a douchebag or nothing, but I've been cutting off folk left and right as soon as they make I don't even question it no more. And I had to go back to my man DC Moe. And then later on, primarily, and other brothers that I subscribed to talked about this, but the brother, Intuitive Athlete, that's like his main niche as far as like narcissism, the spiritual context, so on and so forth. So I never realized my homeboy DC Moe, and I learned a lot of lessons from that brother, was operating in covert narcissism. Now, granted, I took to him because he came in, the treatment center we was at, he came in with my mans and them. I had been there before with him. We came back around about the same time. Brother from Chicago, they came in the same day. So me and the Chicago brother kicking it, and he just with him. So we end up establishing a personal rapport, whatever the case may be, outside of my homeboy from Chicago, right? So again, the Most High, he routinely like mirrors stuff to me. So as I surrendered to the best of my knowledge at that time, which means at that time, no matter what happened, I ain't gonna use. You know what I'm saying? I'll just start with the fundamental aspect of that, right? So in meeting my partner DC Moe, he showed me, like, I empathize with him because I was in a space of where he was currently at that time. People doing you wrong, your confidence knocked to a degree. just can't get the ball rolling, feeling sorry for yourself, so on and so forth. Now, mind you, this man was shoulder to shoulder with me. So throughout my journey, I started getting these various attributes or inklings about how I should move. Now, mind you, I've always dealt with failure, but I'm not in position, and I'm late in the game now in my mind, whereas though I'm just going to have to face this failure, which means I'm probably going to fail at this, but the failure can't stop me from trying. So he has seen me, fail at things and keep going. He has seen me get on a fitness journey. He had seen me, duck and dodge the various characters that you find in treatment or whatever. He's seen me establish a sense of self and my own campaign, you know what I mean? And just, as I said, I just do me, you know what I'm saying? He had seen me do all this, right? But every time he would have a situation or it's always negative. Somebody always doing him wrong. Or he's always playing a victim. So I would share videos and just personal insights of what I was learning, figuring it would help the brother, you know what I'm saying? He did cleave to me or whatever. So eventually, I ended up leaving to take a calculated risk to keep my campaign going. So I told him, now he was the only person I told I was leaving, because I don't feel like explaining myself why I'm leaving and people give me their opinion and so on and so forth. So I told him maybe like 3 days beforehand. So I called like, yeah, cuz, you want to help me pack up? You know what I'm saying? Whoop, whoop, whoop. So I'm already in process of doing this. So I'm actually outside and I see him walk down the street. And I called him, I'm like, yo, where's you going at? He was like, oh, I thought you was playing. But since you've met me, you've never seen me play. Why? But again, a lot of times, and I noticed this, a lot of times people will put their personality onto you because he was scared to take certain risks. He figuring, I'm not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Or something along those lines, right? So I'm like, all right, cuz, cool. And then a lot of times with covert narcissism, I noticed this, right? Because of his bitterness from not letting go of, let's say, his ex-wife or what happened and transpired with that you can have a blessing, and this pertains to me personally, even in this season, right? You can have a blessing, but if you're staying in an old space, an old mentality, or operating in the root of bitterness, you can get a blessing, but you won't see it as a blessing. And the blessing mismanaged will actually set you back. Message. You know what I'm saying? So he had diabetes, right? So I used to tell him, I'm anti-doctor man, right? So I'm like, well, you'd say, the doctor tell you this, that, and the third. But I'm like, cuz, nothing's stopping you from drinking water instead of that diet soda, yo. And then I would show him what aspartame is and show him on the phone, like, you know what I'm saying? You say you don't like the food here, but you're overweight. So just eat the meat and the vegetables, yo. I mean, that's certain stuff you can do to change it. But then he go to the doctor and then tell me the doctor said they're going to Kunta Kinte's foot. I'm like, but you putting your health in that man's hand. But you not doing nothing, cuz. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, this brother had a uncle that was like 99 years old and would flame him up. And at like 6, 7, when you get older, you in a set routine. So I guess about 6, 7 in the evening, he like get his nip, take his shit, you know what I'm saying? And then he said uncle would flame him up. He's one of them old school dudes, you know what I'm saying, where ain't no excuse and he ain't trying to hear no sad story. You know what I mean? He told me a story about how his uncle say he didn't buy his first new car till he was like 50. He worked hard all his life, put his kids through school, woo. So I explained, I said, cuz, one, you don't need to be calling this man. One, he not going to understand. And I understand you calling him because he's 99, you want to tell. But all that trying to get him to understand, and then you calling him when you know he doing him. But then you still can't seemingly understand why he flame you up for messing up his me time. Why don't you call him earlier? Like, but you say you get mad about him flaming you up, which is true. But you keep calling him, man, when you know he doing him, which he ultimately ended up doing with me later on down the line. But I just noticed with he had got, something happened with his food stamps. So when he did get them approved, they gave him like $2,000 worth of food stamps, right? Now, me being solution oriented, and I told him this. I said, yo, now you complain about the food, your high blood pressure. You ain't got to worry about buying food out your pocket for a minute. So why don't you just walk down to Whole Foods, get your little exercise, get you some boiled egg salads, put a little cooler in your room, you know what I'm saying? Get about 2-3 days worth. You ain't got to eat here since you say a sodiumville and all that there. Problem solved. And he was working that time, and you save money. And that solves the problem of you doing what you can personally do to improve your health. So I remember he called me and said, He got the $2,000, almost $2,200 in food stamps. And I remember him saying this. He said, what I'm going to do with this? In a negative connotation. Instead of saying, what can I do with this? So he messed around, gave the card to his brother for the, I guess, 50 cents on a dollar kickback. His brother took all his food stamps, didn't give him no bread for it, no pun intended. And then later on down the line, when, he was really on a half, he said his brother was complaining to him that he had to help him out with food when he beat him out the food, and that's your blood brother. I say, cuz, here goes some more covert narcissism. Now my man's in them, he was nice with the barber skills, cause in the spot we was at, he had to have a free job. He was one of the barbers, right? So he make a little money under the table, how they bless him, whatever the case may be. So I'm like, cuz, you keep talking about going to work for these white folks and this, that, and the third, yo. You got a tangible skill. That's what I'm trying to gain here. That could lead you on a path of self-sufficiency. You are closely tied in to two barbers who have their own businesses. And you will call these barbers and talk about another brother who was from my area, who was also a barber. You won't talk about no business, no putting yourself in, trying to advocate for yourself or put yourself in position. But you will call these businessmen and then talk about another brother and what he should do and this, that, and the third. Why are you not talking to them about you and they're in the lane of what you already do for free? Never did it. But he ended up working for Amazon, had to quit because it was too much on him. Then he ended up getting a job, I think with John Hopkins, like cleaning up or something like that. But you got to get a shot. You got to get the demonstration, right? So previous to that, he didn't have a demonstration. So you go get a job, you get the job, but you got to get, zapped up, right? As I like to call it. Then here we go again. Always making these critiques about other dudes and then doing the same thing they do. So he used to make these critiques about brothers hopping on a scooter, electric scooter jumps and riding around the building, right? I don't know why these guys do that, man. They ain't got nothing to do with, I mean, what that got to do with you, cuz? I'm just saying, cuz. All right, whatever, yeah. Now, I'm already gone by this point. He called me and tell me he hops on a scooter and then somebody dart out in front of him and he ended up messing his leg up. So now you got a shot for a job, mess your leg up, doing the very same thing you condemn other brothers for doing. Now you can't work this job because your leg jacked up and you done got one of the Jimmy Macs up in your veins. Bamboozled again. And it used to piss me off because now I'm somewhere else. And he would call me about various situations, people doing. I'm like, yo, I'm riding around on my bike. I was on a bike at the time. Like, yo, what is wrong with this Negro, yo? But again, in empathy, and because I've seen a lot of traits I used to have, I call myself working with him. So I know what it's like not to have support. I know what it's like being so down in the dumps, people done forgot about you. You know what I'm talking about? That's why I got on YouTube or got phoned to YouTube and just learning certain stuff outside of somebody teaching me stuff. So when somebody ain't teaching me something, I'm learning some stuff on my own. I'm, operating some foresight, planning ahead. Like I started working on my credit when I ain't had no money and I was still in treatment. And as time to proceed on, when I needed it, it was available to me. You see what I'm saying? Typically when I start off doing stuff, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Just like I never knew how I was gonna get my child back in my child life. But I just gotta keep trying to be better and do better, and hopefully the door get open. And that's ultimately what ended up happening. Because he had a similar situation trying to get back to his kids in lip service. But he not. So let me tell y'all this one, right? They always got a problem for every solution you offer. So I'm somewhere else, and my man's and them say, I got some information, cuz. You know what I'm saying? I think he had just got the spot, or he was supposed to start working at John Hopkins. So he found out about some other spot that if he produced 2 payroll paychecks, they was going to funnel him into his own apartment. I said, yo, that's the business. Because the whole time we was at the spot, he was like, man, need his own, man, do this, man. And then you ever notice? Then I noticed he would say, man, do this, man, do that. But I don't never see you do none of it, right? Say all the right stuff, but do the complete and exact opposite, right? So I'm like, all right, folks, that's what's up. I'm happy for him, you know what I mean? Word up. Because I know, what it means for him to get back to his kids, not just that, but the kids having their father back or being on sound footing and whoop, right? So I'm like, all right, cuz. But I noticed he would call me and talk about everything else. He stopped complaining about the food and all that. Because as soon as he'd have done that, I'm like, yo, cuz, why is you still there? Then about 2 weeks passed, and that's when he had the accident. So after the fact, now I'm using this as a teachable moment. I said, cuz, you had the play on a goal you had here in treatment. Getting to your own apartment. You know what I'm saying? Stop living with people, all this, that, and the third, right? You had to move, but never pulled the trigger on it. I said, why, cuz? Now you complain about being at the spot, got a way out the spot, but still stick and stay at the spot. But I noticed something. You stopped complaining about the spot. Because as soon as you just said something about the food or somebody doing you wrong, the first thing I said is, cuz, why are you still there? Didn't you tell me you had to play to get to your own apartment? All that went out the window. You see what I'm saying? Dragging their feet, scared to make a move. And here's why. And I discovered this as well. Outside of the surrender part, I didn't really start growing and evolving until I took the safety net out of excuses out of my vocabulary. So if something don't work, it's not because these people ain't do this or this person said something to me. When I put all the responsibility for my life and my actions and how I respond squarely on my shoulder, all the stuff I used to complain about was ineffective towards me. But a lot of time, from what I'm noticing, people duck that responsibility part because they always need something to blame on if it don't go right. See, if something don't, like, I failed at a bunch of stuff since I've left treatment and all that. But they ain't hire me. They wasn't meant to hire me. That's what. On to the next one, like the Jigga Man song. You see what I'm saying? And it started like repelling my spirit after I got out. Because now, as per time proceed on, he had a situation where, he ain't got no money. He's kind of disabled. He's, going from hospital to hospital. Now, I'm working at the rehab. And I think he didn't have any. So one of the hospitals put him in a hotel for like 30 days. But then after that, he was going to be on the street. So then I'm talking to the brother. I'm like, yo, what's your plan? He about a week out from, having to leave. So he's like, I don't know. What you mean? I mean, I get it. Okay. All right. Me being solution oriented. Look, cuz, you might have to take a step back to go forward. Now, I'm at the spot and I got a little position here, man. You might have to do another 60 days. You know what I'm saying? But then get the recovery housing, a little different here where I'm at. I got your back. I done showed you that. You know what I'm saying? Come on down here, fool with your boy, yo. You know what I mean? He like, oh, but I had to convince him to do that. But then he would call and ask me to cash app him money to wash his clothes and do all this, that, and the third. See, I'm type, brother, problem me a solution, and I'm in a detrimental situation. I think about 2 seconds, run it. I ain't got no other players in the pot. You know what I'm saying? So I gets my mind down here with me, woot to woot, everything copacetic. So where I'm at now, I'm about to go to Planet Fitness, about 45 minutes from where I live at. But it's scenic driving, country road, whatever, right? So we get down there, he start complaining again. I can't do this, I can't do that. He would actually make statements and say, yo, I wish I was back at the spot, which is an impact where you can't do nothing. So I'm like, why would you want to be in a place where you can't do nothing? At least So I'm like, all right, cuz, again, problem solved. Now, he's from DC, and there are a plethora of Moes, that's what we call DC dudes, who are here in my area. And I see them on Facebook, they fishing, they out and about. I'm like, yo, and the Moes stick together. So I'm like, yo, why don't you contact the Moes that you was running with, that you met down here, and get a trade to where they at, because it seemed like they got freedom. He like, yeah, cuz, you right, yo. So this particular day, he had banged my line about 5 times. So now I'm starting to get tired of him. And then he'd end up texting me what's going on, so I don't feel the need to urgently respond. So he link up with the Moes, and I call it getting a trade to the town I actually grew up in. By this time, I got my license back, and I got a car now, and he closer. So he called me like all sad, like, yeah, man, they gonna put me out, and wham. I said, hold it right there, folk. I said, cuz, didn't you say you got the trade to where I grew up at? He said, yeah. So why are you sad? Ain't this what you want? Didn't you say you can't do X, Y, Z where you at? You've effectively problem solved. You're getting to a place where you'll be linked in. You'll have the freedom to do what you say you want to do. So why are you banging my line? And why are you sad, young? He couldn't give me an answer. So he gets on down to where I'm at, or the town where I grew up at, which is about 15, 20 minutes from where I live at now, right? So, I'm pulling up on him. I break off what I'm doing. Let me fellowship with the brother. I take him around, show a little stuff and how to move, because the police white man real terrible around there, right? He pressed Negroes out, right? So, okay, shit. Balls, it ain't gonna get no burn. That's ball in your court, baby. And I noticed he would bang. Now, I didn't quit the job by this point. He used to bang my line, talking about nothing, talking about the people he lived with, this, that, and the third. But I'm thinking to myself, in my new mind, I say, yo, that'd be like me. Okay, I go to DC, he plugged me in, right? And I call him and talk about everything else. But I'm like, but I never call him and ask for suggestions. Even though I've seen this man effectively problem solve for me off the homeboy tip. I never run anything past him, any solutions, any thoughts. You see what I'm saying? Make a long story long. I end up cutting him off because, like I talked about in previous videos on here, when I was going to solo school, I would tell him, the hours I'm going, and he would call me. So later on, I get around, like, yo, cuz, you know what I'm saying? I'll be in school from whoop to whoop to whoop to whoop, right? Oh, my bad. He'll turn around and do it again. So one day, I get so mad, I text him because we on Zoom. I text him like, yo, bro, why do you keep calling me? I just told you yesterday, bro. Oh, my bad. He won't do it the next day, but the day after, he'll do it again. So I'm on the Zoom joint, and I get, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm totally forgetting everybody on the Zoom can see me. They're like, Calvin, you all right? I said, oh, yeah, my bad. I just got a funny text message. My fault, right? I would live it. Like, I just told this man. So now I got another story for y'all. So I had the government phone for the longest, right? Cheap, free, you know what I'm saying? But I noticed as I started adding apps and doing like little stuff off my phone other than talking to people, like I needed more storage. So eventually I know I'm gonna have to break off and get a new phone, or real phones I like to call it. But I ain't gotta do it right now. So I had talked to this man up until almost midnight, right? You know what I'm saying? Hang up, woo woo woo, right? So then I wake up the next morning, check my phone. I got a bunch of voice messages through Facebook Messenger. You know what I'm saying? I had called him from the house phone a couple times. He had called the house phone, left a message like, yo, bro, your phone's off. What's wrong? Whoop, 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 whoop. And I'm like, well, he knew I was in the house. And I talked to him like right up in the midnight. And all these messages was before like 7 o'clock in the morning. If you ask me, unless it's a real emergency, ain't no reason to be calling no other man before 9 o'clock, yo. Why is you banging my line and asking all these questions? Like, why my phone off? So then I go look at my phone, my eligibility expired. So I said, oh, okay. Which again, looking at it from a solution oriented or finding the silver line, it was time for me to get a real phone anyway. Because then I started, adding these apps and needing all this storage and whatever the case may be. So before I call him back, I just go to Verizon and get a phone. But I'm tempted not to give him this number, but I'm trying to work with cuz. Because, I mean, it took me a while to turn it around. So I'm like, let me give him some grace. You know what I'm saying? So eventually I call him, like, yeah, woo da woo. So he's like, yeah, what number you call me from? I said, oh, they cut off my eligibility. Normally, I thought they would email me, let me know, but they didn't. Blessing in disguise. So, no, I just went to Verizon and got a new phone. This the phone number. He said, oh. But it sounded like he was disappointed. So then as I'm thinking about it, it sounds like, and again, I noticed this, when people are in this spiritual space, they want to stay next to you in the hopes something happens so they can see pain and suffering on you. Because that's what they deal with internally on a moment-by-moment basis. So when I told him I just went and got another phone that was halfway jive decent, it seemed like he was disappointed. He was like, I could hear him, like his voice deflate. I'm like, I shrugged that one off. Like, I know he's going with, man, whatever, yo. You know what I'm saying? But as time proceeded on, he kept calling me, kept banging. He kept, I'm telling him, yo, don't call me during this time, bro. And you ain't talking about nothing, yo. So I just got tired of it, and I blocked him from social media, my phone, my house phone, all that. So he called me from another phone number. And normally I don't answer the phone. I was fumbling around just so I didn't answer it by mistake. So he like, hey, what's up, bro? So I'm like, what's up with you? Now I'm a little like, what's up, man? You know what I mean? He like, oh, did I do something? So obviously, but this would seal the deal though, right? So I start laying into him because I'm frustrated. I'm tired by this point. While you just can't seem to understand anything that I'm saying out my mouth. So he was like, and this was sit now. I still was gonna give him grace before I banged the gavel on it. But after I hung the phone up on it, he made a statement. He said, bro, I know I was calling you too much. Oh, my brain stopped right there. So the way my brain translated, you're doing something you shouldn't do and continue to do it. What's the reason and the catalyst for it? Are you testing me? 'Cause I don't like folk testing me. Are you trying me? since I'm your man's and them, and I done showed mad love and put bread in your pocket, you know what I'm saying, whatever off the love. Are you testing me to see how far you can go with me? And if that's what make it even that much, I don't want to say painful, but disappointing, is when someone who has seen you go through the fire, who's seen you evolve, who's seen you face hardship, and then they testing you to see how far they can go with you. Because previous to this point, I don't know what made them think that. Because I had a period where I had to stop talking to my child because she was practicing manipulation I thought she picked up from her mother. So I cut her off. So if I cut my child off, and then we all right now, because you got to let them know. Not by talking, by behavior or by action. So if I cut my child off, what make you think I won't do it to you if you do it? What make me think somebody else won't do it to me if I start impeding on their time? You know what I'm saying? Then come to find out, because I was thinking, I said, for all this time, this man keep calling me 5-6 times a day about nothing. He can't be doing what I'm suggesting him to do, yo. After I cut him off, come to find out that the people he met through me, he was calling them, begging them for money, which let me know. But the man is nice with cutting hair. I told him. Now there's a barbershop, in the area that he lived at, right? And he would say that the dude, it's a white dude, he would give everybody the Johnny Bravo haircut. I say, cuz, again, solution or you've cut my hair. Cuz, you nice with the clippers, yo. Man, this is business, yo. Sold the game up. That's what I would do. You in the recovery house or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? You get your brother sending the clippers, right? Because he ready to cut you off. So get your brother sending the clippers, which tells him you ready to make some money and you ready, just try to do something with yourself. That's all he want. You be in them joints, clean them, taking them apart, whatever. It's going to pique people's interest. Oh, man, hey, DC Moe, what you doing with them? Oh, man, just trying to make a couple dollars out here, man. Trying to keep my skills sharp. Hey, bro, I ain't going to jack you up, man. You mind if I cut you up? You cut him up on the free tip. He going to go wherever he go. Oh, darn, cut, boy, you sharp, boy. Who did that? DC Moe. Then you start charging. And then just charge him slightly less than the dude who gave him the Johnny Bravo haircut. Now you moving and grooving. Now you networking. He ain't do none of that. What is that? I'm paraphrasing in the word where it says you got these various like talents, but you don't use none of it or you just bury it. But yet, get frustrated because you have gimpy now and you can't get a job working at Popeyes. But you got a tangible skill, tax-free money, and your minds and them showed you the niche, and you refuse to take it because you refuse to accept any responsibility for your life. So every time, and like maybe, I don't know, 6 months ago out of nowhere, I ain't talked to him over a year or something. Probably 18 months now, probably working close to 2 years. He had hit me out the blue on Cash App and requested $50. I just blocked him and said, wow, that just let me know he's still in the same place, man. And this is just a message. I ain't even planning on going this route with it. But this is just a message about not letting the root of bitterness, you know what I'm saying? Or even, or me, right? I put it on myself, right? Whereas though I've been in a certain space, isolation or being very leery of, people bamboozling me, so on and so forth, right? And I've been this, and it has worked in 2024, but it's probably not going to work moving forward in 2025. Because if I'm closed off and closed-minded, I may block blessings coming to me because it's easier just to stay in the space you've always been at. And on that note, I'm going to holler at y'all. Ooh.